Nigel Farage once again last night putting the establishment on notice, this time in terms of the media establishment. I'm going to bring you all the very latest in this report, guys, but please start off by hitting the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss future reports. Now, Nigel hosted a show yesterday across platforms, including right here on YouTube, Farage Live. And before I get into this, I think there's little doubt that people are looking for alternative media in this country. And so I thank you for helping this channel really grow. And if, as I said, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to keep doing reports. But Nigel, with this Farage Live yesterday, people are crying out for that alternative. And so that's why you're seeing the likes of this channel. There's a few others, Maya Tuzi, a very notable one, Andre Walker, all of these guys. Definitely go and subscribe and follow their stuff. We're out here trying to provide you, and the onus is on us to provide quality alternative media to give you that alternative that I know so many of you want and so many of you are keen to support. And of course, we've got the prospect now of a new entry into the market with GB News set to launch next year, chaired by Andrew Neil. And we also hear of one or two other projects as well. So there certainly should be more choice, and more competition is good. Something I know the EU don't like the sound of at the moment in terms of their so-called level playing field. But hey, let's just look at what Nigel did yesterday in terms of his numbers. I asked for the numbers that they got there. On Facebook, Nigel's show, Farage Live, it was very well produced, in a studio, looked superb. Great guests in Anne Widdecombe and Conservative MP Andrew Bridgham. As of time of recording, I'm told 170,000 views on Facebook, 140,000 views on Twitter, 90,000 views here on YouTube for a combined 400,000 views. Now, I think it's time to be optimistic about this, because what technology and platforms are now allowing, apart from some censorship, and we'll perhaps talk about that another time, is the opportunity now, the barriers to entry to get a large audience, to be able to provide people with an alternative, is becoming far more accessible. And so I've always been a big believer in that it's one thing to moan about the status quo, but let's change it. And as I say, I think I'm doing my little bit here on this channel, but there are many others. As I said, Maya Tuzi, Andre Walker, notable examples of that. But Nigel pulling in 400,000 views there on the first edition of Farage Live, which I think's really, really encouraging, because as I said, I think certainly the Brexiteer point of view, those of us on that side of the argument have been badly let down really by much of the broadcast media. And I do make a distinction, because I do think that newspapers overall, we do have a good spread ideologically, and there is real choice in the market, and actually I want to see more choice. But in terms of Nigel's show, in case you didn't see it, here's one bit of the show from last night.
Remember where we've been for the last few days. We've had Boris saying that there could be a no-deal outcome. Noel Edmonds would ask, deal or no deal? Boris then said it's very likely that we'll leave with no deal, and everybody swallowed it. The newspapers swallowed it, the pundits swallowed it. Everybody was expecting it to be a no deal. The odds in the betting markets changed significantly too. I got to tell you, I didn't believe a word of it, and here's why. That front page, the Daily Mail on Saturday. Fisheries gunboats in the Channel, armed with machine guns, will stop French boats coming into British waters. Well, I mean, the thought that we're going to use machine guns against 30-foot French netters I thought was absolutely ludicrous, but classic of the kind of thing that the number 10 spin machine would put out into mainstream media. We're fighting hard. We're battling for Britain. And then I saw Boris Johnson yesterday being interviewed on Sky News, saying that no deal was very likely. And I could see the smirk on his face. This is all, in my view, an act, a giant charade. It's to make us think that they're really, really fighting hard to get us a good deal.
Now, people can say what they like about Nigel. When it comes to the EU, when it comes to Brexit, he's been pretty spot on over the years when it comes to predictions. And so the fact that he's saying that when it comes to no deal, it's looking like a charade that he thinks Boris will be doing a deal, and even saying on Twitter, Boris said no deal was likely, and the newspapers, the pundits, and the betting markets all swallowed it. I never believed a single word. By the way, in the comments below, guys, do let me know. Did you watch the Nigel Farage live last night? If you didn't, make sure you go and subscribe on to his YouTube channel here on YouTube if you haven't already. But in terms of the Brexit, in terms of where we are, Nigel very clear. He thinks this is a charade and that there will be a deal. Keen again to hear from you what you make of that. So I think it's very, very welcome that Nigel's opening show there with this new format has done so well. And as I said, it's great to see so many alternatives now springing up. The onus is on us, as I said, to provide you with quality alternative media. And that's something I'm certainly going to be doing more and more of here on this channel. Now, in terms of where we are on Brexit, the Times are reporting today that the UK and the European Union have the architecture in place for a deal on one of the most contentious issues of the Brexit negotiations, the head of the EU Commission has said, amid rising hopes of progress. Ursula von der Leyen said there had been movement on the principles of the so-called level playing field, and that negotiators are now working on the details. And I've highlighted this many times before. Essentially what the EU is saying is, well, we'll do a deal where effectively if you stray too far from EU rules and gain Brexit competitive advantage, we'll be able to punish you. Does that sound like something you want to sign up to? A Downing Street source has hit back and said there is simply no truth in the idea that we have backtracked, that inaccurate briefings from the EU side in recent days have made a difficult discussion even more challenging in the short period of time we have left, of course, with the transition period set to end just at the end of this month. They did, however, confirm that the architecture for an agreement on the level playing field was in place. It's always been the case that we support reasonable mechanisms to ensure that there isn't trade distortion. We recognise you need to ensure fair competition according to this source. The scope of that distortion test and the scope of the arbitration is what needs to be worked out, but we're in a completely different world, from last week when the EU was demanding the unilateral right to retaliate. Look, it still seems to me that a deal that allows the EU to retaliate against us for having temerity to exercise our independence is going to lead to threats, to acrimony, to the opposite of a clean break. But as ever, I want to give the British government, Boris Johnson and Lord Frost, the benefit of the doubt. So of course we'll have to see if a deal is done, and we'll have to see what has been agreed in that deal. But in terms of Nigel Farage, I think it's a positive development to see him gain such a large audience there in that first broadcast. As I said, the onus is on us now through all our different channels to help give you that alternative view. You're certainly not going to get it from much of mainstream media. Let me know what you made of the Nigel broadcast. Did you watch it? What did you make of it? And do you have any ideas for what I should be doing on this channel that you would like to see me talk about things or different ideas? Please do let me know if you have any. And of course, guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please help me out by giving this video a big thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. And of course, you can support the channel by becoming a member. Hit the join button down below. See the link in the top pinned comment to become a member of the channel. Would really appreciate your support. And of course, as ever, thank you so much for watching.